on, Metalheads? Thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Metal Forge. My name is Mark Jackson, and I am your host. With us today is an awesome treat because usually it's dark in here, as you all know, but this time you can kind of see in the background, it's kind of dark where he is as well. And my guest this week from the Old Dead Tree is Manuel Munoz. Did I say that? Did I pronounce correctly?
Absolutely.
Awesome. I always like it to when I can get names, mostly correct.
No, it's really fine.
Some of the there's some of the Eastern European names that I'm just like, wow, I can't even begin to. Dude, thank you for coming to the Metal Forge. How's it going?
I'm really well. And what about you?
Being in the United States is a new it's a new experience every day. Just looking at the news. But yeah, I'm doing all right. Recently I started going back to the gym. And I've always been like a bigger guy, but I'm trying to do better with things in life, as I've gotten into my 40s now. I'm just like, what's considered middle age anymore? Because sometimes, 50 and we always used to think 50 was like middle age, but I don't see too many 100-year-olds walking around anymore. So, so I'm thinking more like 30 to 35 to 45 is kind of middle aged at this point.
In France, we have an expression saying that to describe a man who is between two ages. And it's about 50. You're not an old man, but you're not young either. So
Sure.
You're between two ages.
Yeah.
But I turned 48 the day before yesterday. So I truly can't see the 50 years old coming to me in 2 years.
Sure. Happy belated then. Hell yeah. That's pretty cool. But yeah, that's the whole thing. So while we're here today is you have a new album coming out, and it's the London Sessions. So tell the Metal Forge about the Old Dead Tree first. Let's give us a primer. Like, what's the tour like? Give us the rundown of the band.
We have a long and complicated story because
most.
We started as we were really young. I was 19 when we started back in 1997, and we were really inexperienced, and we learned to play music together. So we were very close friends, and we had a lot of fun playing music together. And our drummer had a lot of personal issues he couldn't fix. And 2 years after we started the band, he killed himself. Yeah, we lost our friends, and we were, as I told you, we were young, and we were a young band, and we could have stopped playing music together because of this. But instead of that, we decided to pay tribute to his memory, to continue playing music together. And the first album we composed and recorded was entirely dedicated to him and to the way we dealt with his death. And this album, The Nameless Disease, was released in 2003. With our actual recording company. We never left our recording company, Season of Mist in France. And after that, we got quite a success in Europe. We toured Europe. We played with Paradise Lost, with Opeth, with Catatonia. We accompanied Pika on tour in Europe also. And after 3 albums, as we couldn't become professional musicians, the band was not successful enough for that. We were exhausted. We all started to have families. I had 2 kids back in those days. I still have, but now they're grown-ups. And by the end of the 2000s, we decided to stop playing music because it was too difficult. And but we remained friends and we stayed in touch. We gathered in 2013 to celebrate the 10th anniversary of our first album to make a small tour, 12 gigs in France, Switzerland, Belgium. And it was very nice to together again. We decided also to record some of the songs we started to compose back in before the split, and we released them later. But it was always not a real reunion. It was just, things we were doing, and they were limited in time. But
Sure.
when COVID happened, um, we started to think about life differently, about things that matters, and times we have left, and what we want to do with our lives. And it it brought us to think about all of this. And I was pretty afraid about the idea of gathering the band together again, because I suffered very, very much from the splits when it happened. And I didn't want to go through that again. And I didn't want to ruin our friendship, because when we split, it was damaged. But finally, the guys convinced me to try. So we first composed and recorded one song called Terrified. We proposed it to the recording company. They released it, and it worked pretty well. We were invited to play the Hellfest. I don't know if you know
Sure.
this festival. It's a huge
Oh yeah, I know
festival in
who
Europe.
Health. I know what Hellfest is. Hell yeah.
So they invited us because of this song, and we played there before 10,000 people. Everything went really right, and we decided to make an album. So we made a new album that was released 1 year ago. And as we were, and that's why it's quite complicated, because, but as we were finalizing the composition of the album, I received a phone call from a friend, François-Maxime Bouteau, who is a French producer. We worked with many times on tour and in the studio in the past. And he told me that he could have access to Abbey Road Studio in London. He could bring a band there, and he works. Among all the things he does, he's a very talented fellow. He is also a senior lecturer at Abbey Road Institute, Paris, and because of their work together and the collaboration with Abbey Road Studios in London, he had access to the studio. And so as we were working our asses up to finish the album, he told me, "You can come in London." So obviously, we
Cool.
some of the songs we were about to record in France in Vamacara studio, and record them in London. And we also decided to record two songs that were released back in 2005 on our second album, in order to celebrate the 20th anniversary of this album. So that's how we decided which song would be part of this EP London sessions we recorded there.
Wow. That's so a lot to unpack there. Obviously, while I have never had a member, take their own life or anything like that, obviously, we all know the stories of bands like Metallica with Fade to Black and Otulamon from Megadeth.
Yeah.
You know, very, very, very personal stories. And, even with how many people do struggle with suicide and, ideation and attempts and unfortunate successes that, you know, um, just reach out and talk to somebody. That's the only thing that I can say about it is, things may seem dark, but, um, there's always somebody out there that's got your back. So I do want to say that to people, and I apologize for your loss so long ago. Having friends who have as well, it's like I wish they were here now, regardless of, like whatever whatever, just life in general, aside from like political garbage, but like just to see like, what good music has come out in the last, 20 or 30 years that they haven't been here. So I totally get you on that one. And yeah. But aside from that, that's a pretty long deal, being in a band from, the late 90s on. At some point, that's what's called legacy band, I believe. But it's really cool to get together and say do a 10th anniversary show of your album or small tour. And where you were saying how the it was never a real reunion until now, it seems like, because you just did short run stuff here and there. And honestly, life gets in the way of everybody at some point. So there's no timeline, in my opinion, of being an artist. You know, if you put something down and pick it
Oh,
back
but
up
yeah,
5 years later, what that's cool. That's okay, because it's like it is art. It is very subjective, and it does take a lot to create it. And you said the thing about the band not being, financially um to that level to where you could get, say, and be a full-time musician. And or what you said, that was around 2010ish.
or 2009.
2009. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, even here in the States at that time, it was a nightmare for any band. So I don't think there's anything down upon that at all, because that was the world economy at that point.
Unfortunately, yes. But
Yeah.
today I don't regret that much not being a professional musician because it offers us the freedom to do whatever we want to do.
Sure.
When it's your job, you have to satisfy your clients and you have to satisfy your fan bases. And you have to deliver albums when you have to deliver albums because your wage depends on it. And when you're not, it's just you have less time, you have less means to work, but you do what you want to do when you want to do it, and with the people you want to work with, and that's also some kind of a luxury. So some of my friends are professional musicians, and I'm not sure I would like to do that. And also, being on tour is really, really nice. But being on tour because you have to, because it's your way of living, you way to earn money. It's not the same thing at all. And getting on stage, even when you're sick, even when you don't want to, just because, yeah, I
It's your
prefer to do
job. Yeah.
something that is not related to music. Yeah, about this.
For sure.
But
That's
yeah.
funny that you say that, because one of the things I had just recently read was a post from somebody who is a full-time musician on an independent level. No, they're not like, they're on labels like Season of Mist, where they're more what do they call it, boutique labels and stuff, where it's not like a Capitol Records or a Sony or anything. And, touring is very much the life at that point, because you've got to make it work. And he was talking about how it was awful to come home after tour, because of tour being the hustle and bustle. Um, you know, Everything has to be here. You have a strict itinerary that you're supposed to meet. And and it's a very fast paced environment when it is fast paced, drive time, whatever. But then once you get home and you don't have those restrictions, and it's almost like you have to reset and reintegrate because of the circus that is playing live music on tour versus, you know, home, that it's very much a hard thing to flip back and forth between.
It's a hard transition. But
Yeah.
being on tour, it's having the very same day every day in always different places and with different people. It's very strange, you know. You have to experience it. You just wait all day long for the 1 hour and a half you will be playing, and it's just wait and wait and wait. And so that's why it's important to be with people you really like to be with, because if you're just with other musicians that are some kind of colleagues to you, I think it's hell.
Sure. No. There's only so many good set bros you can have. Good set, bro. For sure. So Abbey Road. Oh my God. So
Yeah.
iconic, just like for what it is. To like, how did you feel walking in?
Um, um, First, some of the band members, most of the band members are huge fans of the Beatles. So we knew their history. We watched tons of videos about the Beatles, their recordings. And when we first entered the studio two, the big one, where we recorded, where we shot the videos for the two singles, we climb down the stairs and we enter this huge room that smells like a museum. The floor is the wooden floor is quite crooked. They never changed it. On the walls you have foam panels that are still the same since the 60s. They left it even when they're torn apart. The pianos that are there are still the same pianos. They didn't change the keys. So most of the keys are ruined, but they're still in tune. So you can play the Penny Lane piano. It's the same one with the same keys. Everything has been conserved as it was. And there's an acoustic which is incredible with a very natural and warm echo that I never heard in any other studios. So the Studio 2 was the most powerful sensation to be there. It was almost mystic, actually. Our guitar player, Nicolas Chevrolier, has been raised by his father listening to the Beatles. And when we entered the studio, he started crying. So it was really a huge experience. The second studio we worked in, because we changed after 3 days, we went into Studio 3, which is a smaller studio, but still a big studio regarding the usual size of studios in Europe. Is the studio where Pink Floyd recorded Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here and everything. But this one is totally new. They changed everything, so it's very modern and it's a luxury studio, but you cannot find the soul you can find in the first one. So
Wow.
being there was amazing. Working there was amazing. We decided to record the bass and drums in a live sessions there in the big room in the studio to enjoy this sound, very natural, and the sound of the drums is really 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 good. And being in the building also is quite strange because it doesn't seem that big when you're outside of it, when you're in front of the building, but it's very very profound. You have 80 people working every day in this building. A lot of
Well,
offices,
well, what's
a lot
also
of
crazy, can I
yeah.
interject? Can I interject here? What's also, you say that, but what's also crazy is when the London Symphony Orchestra is recording Star Wars music or whatever John Williams is using them for, they recorded Abbey Road.
Yeah. When we were there,
So it's huge.
oh yes, there's another studio where they record the Philharmonic Orchestras, which is a Studio One, which
Mm-hmm.
is quite vintage too, and it's a very very big studio. It's the biggest recording studio in the world. You can record orchestras in venues, but this is a studio, not a venue. It's specially designed to be to record orchestras with
Mm-hmm.
an enormous amount of different mics you can use to record them. And when we were there, they were an American orchestra recording the music for Tim Burton's. I don't remember the name of the movie. The latest Tim Burton movie.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and the studio is so famous that they bring 80 musicians from the US to be there, and they financed that. And it was fun because they were recording and with a different time than we did because of the we have different time sets. I don't find the time. We don't have the same hour, so
Sure.
they had to. So they had to adapt to the musicians for them not to be too tired, and they worked with different times. So it was a strange experience, but sometimes we had to stick our ear on the door to listen to them working.
Wow. That's so cool to be in a place that's so iconic to the industry, not just, rock music or that but like in general to the industry of recording. And please tell me you all videoed as much as you could, and did you at least take promo pictures on the roof?
No, we couldn't get on the roof.
They
I
won't
didn't
let them
know.
do it no more. See, since
Oh,
they played on the roof.
no, it's
They,
not the same. It's not the same place. When the Beatles recorded on the roof, it was on their building. They had their own building in London, where
sure.
their recording, the recording company they created was Apple Corp. So it's not the same. It's not the same place. But I love to
Oh,
go on
okay.
the roof too.
See, that's a misconception then. Maybe that's just my ignorance that thinking it was the same building, but
No, no.
regardless, it would still be rad as hell. But like just to be able to do it and to say, it's like playing a legendary venue like what Carts and Horses or the Whiskey or whatever the like
Yeah.
a classic venue, or saying that you got to record on like the Neve console from just from like all those classic albums. What is that Studio One or whatever it was, but whatever. And so like cool thing for me is like say one-on-one recording studio. It's like where the Black Album was recorded. Dr. Feelgood was recorded there.
Yeah.
I actually have my best friend for a birthday gift bought two adjoining pieces of the parquet floor
Cool.
and sent me one, and it was so cool. So to have like that's my closest thing that I could do. And for years I had it in here, like on the wall because it's in my studio. But
It's a part of
I
history.
took it and put it up next to my Metallica Platinum album. So I was just like, there you go. It needs to be with the album that was made famous by, But no, to be able to experience something like that, I'm sure it's otherworldly. And it's one of those, to me, it would be one of those I've made it feelings. Like this, this is what making it is, like getting
Yeah.
to record in such an awesome historical place like that is really rad. And and just the amount of like what you even said, like Dark Side of the Moon being recorded there in Studio 3. And just like if you even just take that, not only just the Beatles sessions that were there, but you take even that session alone, of the amount of innovation that studio alone, that as Abbey Road itself did, and regardless of who's producing and engineering and stuff like that, like, because that was Alan Parsons on that album. That was, but like, just stretching the tape across mic stands and stuff. It's like, where else are you going to go to do that but Abbey Road?
And the fun thing about Abbey Road is also that it was owned by EMI.
Mm-hmm.
And EMI in the beginning, when they opened the place, had a factory with many engineers, and they were making new microphones. And one of the things why people still come to Abbey Road, it's not only because it's famous and historical, but also because they have a set of microphones you cannot find anywhere else. They kept everything still in use. I recorded in a singing microphone that was used by John Lennon for the Beatles, and it's still in use. We used a very old microphone. It looks like a piece of a war machine to record our amplifiers. It was really nice. And as we were with a friend who is a producer, he explained us everything. He was like a kid, in a toy store, because he could access things you won't find anywhere in the world because it's not been made for 40 years. And you can have this very specific sound you were looking for. And there's no even synthetic imitations of this kind of sound.
Oh yeah, no clones.
Yes, so it's you cannot top that. I don't think that we can ever find a studio and have this kind of feeling we had. It was very precious. So I never dreamed of getting there, and now that I've been there, it seems like it was it. And there's a part of me thinking that did it really happen? So of course we had the pictures and the videos, but yeah, and as we were there for working, and when I work, I'm really focused on what I have to do all the time. I'm not really funny when I work, so. I think I didn't experience the things as much as I could have, but that's the way it is.
I get that, because yeah, you have to be focused down to the T, because if you're not, things don't get done. I personally know that from experience, like that thing of what they always say, don't write in the studio because how much money it costs. So yeah, that's exactly what it is. And it's, but one of the other cool things is like what you're talking about with, no clones on the gear, that it's all like analog, that stuff is that. And I'm sure that you could probably still, if you wanted to, record analog there, if you wanted to. I'm sure they have the gear still to do,
Absolutely,
not just tape. Yeah. So that's super cool. And, like in my area in the States, we don't have like too many like analog studios anymore. I think there's one here in my city, but good luck getting in there, because the guy runs sound live for bands as well. And he's always out on the road. So when you can actually schedule it, yeah. But like, I think the next closest one is either Detroit or St. Louis. And it's like, those are like 5 and 6 hour drives just to get like a good 2-inch tape to analog recording, which, is whatever it is these days. But anyway, so what do we have going on for the rest of 25 and 26 now that it's so late in the year?
We released a second video last week, and we will go on tour on spring with I don't know if you know the band Hypersight. It's the band that was created by Aaron Stainthorpe, the singer of My Dying Bride.
Okay.
Are you into this band? I don't know if you know this band.
I'm not familiar with them yet. They've kind of been on the radar to check out, but of course, My Dying Bride. Yeah. So that's rad. So
yeah, that's cool.
Are y'all doing like European tour? Are there plans for international touring? Like,
For now, only a couple of gigs are confirmed, and we're still waiting for other answers for the rest of the year. So I cannot say anything yet, but
sure,
we expect to tour more and to play festival this summer also.
They're the best, really. I mean, yeah. The festivals are fun just because if they're backlined, they're great. But like, but most of the time they're fun, except for the traffic, I guess. Traffic's always worse because there's so many extra people, but like It's what it is. It's a well worth it trade off, I think.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you one other thing, but I can't remember what it was.
We'll come back.
We'll come back to that. Hell yeah! So definitely look forward to seeing you all live. Oh, I know what it was now. Now that I say it, so like you mentioned, going on tour, doing some dates and stuff. So like when you're based in France, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're going to like Germany, Sweden, Switzerland, um, places like that. Now, do you all have to go through like customs every time, or do you actually, or they like, flash your passport and you can go through pretty well?
It depends on the country. If you
Okay.
stay in European Union, you can cross. There's no borders, so you can cross any country without any problem. When you get into Switzerland, it can be more complicated. The policemen there on the border are really serious ones, and I have bad memories crossing this border.
Mm,
Especially, I remember one we were touring with a band I won't name, and some of the people in this other band was on cocaine. And when we were in Germany,
right.
they couldn't stop, getting some. And the day before we crossed the border, I went to the tour manager and I said, I don't want to cross the border with the cocaine on the bus. And he told me, oh, there's no cocaine on the bus. I saw them taking some all the time. So I told him, I know there's some cocaine on the bus. And he told me, no, there's no more cocaine on the bus.
No more.
Yeah, the nasal vacuum cleaner has taken off. But yeah, fortunately, they didn't came into the bus with the dogs this time. But I remember one band I know they had to download all the backline, took the backline all down the bus in order for the policeman to compare the list we had with the backline there was, and to check that it wasn't importation and exportation when you leave the country. It can be really long.
Wow. Especially, that's where I guess, going to an all-inclusive system like in-ears and wireless and, as minimalistic stuff as possible, no amps or anything, because I'm sure at some point you're going to run across somebody who's going to want to fucking take apart your speaker cabinets just to check and see if you're smuggling.
Yeah, it can happen, but even if you just having everything minimalized, like you said, you have a lot of different devices. So
Sure.
if they have a list, they will check all the devices and can be really long also. You have to be really well prepared and to sound serious and prepared. So they will be reassured about that.
So what we're saying here, Metal Forge listeners and viewers, is if you're going into any country where you have to pass through customs like that, make sure you book that as a travel day. don't hopefully you can't, unless you're playing and that it's like right on the border.
But if you have just one guitar, it's okay. But if you have drums and all backlines, it will be obvious.
Yeah, what forbid anybody playing on a drum set with black drum heads on both the top and the bottom, just for the look, again, having to take stuff apart. It's so much.
Hey, I have to go away this time for good. I wish I could stay a bit longer, I swear. Hey, don't look at me that way. I thought you would understand that I've no other choice but to leave Earth. Run from the pain.
But anyway, I'm going to ask you some general questions about you as a person. These kind of come from anywhere. They actually come from this phone sitting right here.
Okay.
Um, so um, think back to a time that you felt transformed in your life.
Well,
What
a
made you
town,
change?
a time or a town?
A time.
Oh,
When you think of a time that something transformed you, what made you change?
I think the death of my friends when I was 21. It, it's you start to realize the value of life, and that's it can end, and that you can lose somebody you are really close from in in a, just snapping the fingers. Um, as I told you, we were close, and he was getting better and better because of the band, and we didn't see it coming. So it was a huge change in all our lives. We had to reconsider many things, and I think it changed the way I considered my wife and the fact that I remember even when my first boy was born, it was a couple of years later, and when I was leaving home in the morning, there was a voice in my head saying, maybe they won't be there tonight. I don't know why I was thinking that. It was really dark, and I'm not a dark person, but it stayed a long time. This little voice saying that life is fragile.
It very much is. And I think that's what a lot of people do take for granted um, overall, just because. What are you devoted to?
My relatives, you know, um, the friends you have, so the people you choose, So I try to be trustful in life and in people, but I think most of the time you can choose what happened to you. Sometimes you cannot, of course, but by choosing the people that who surround you, sorry, you choose the environment in which you evolve, and you can avoid being confronted with bad things. We're good people, you will always find a way to fix things. You will always have help, and so I always try not to stay with people I would not like to be on the weekend. So
That no, that's no, that's great. That's
yeah,
very true. It's all in, in who and how you surround yourself. And I think that works both ways, not just with people, but even with like your employers and stuff like that. We all have to do something we all have to make money somehow because it's just the way the world works this day and age. Um, but like, yeah, even surrounding like with those people, in a job, it's the same thing. So yeah, choose something that you're going to be beneficial in, and that you can be. Not only can you be lifted up and benefit from it, but and once you're lifted up too, that you have the ability to help elevate them as well. And then
yeah,
it becomes, it's a mutual thing. And I think that's what a lot of culture and society are missing today. We're so quick to be judgmental and focus on negativity, but it's like in This Is Spinal Tap, when Ian Holm says in there that it's like, I really don't think it's that much of a problem that you're making it, because for the two or three things that go wrong, 100 go right that you never pay attention to. And, and to have that bit of knowledge and to think that as, you know, that you could apply that to your day to day relationships with people. That's very profound of you. Hell yeah, man. That's cool. What do you wish you had known starting out that you know now?
Chill. Not, I never rest. So I lost the ability to rest. That's a problem because I remember that when I was a teenager, I could stay doing nothing. It was not a problem. Today, I cannot do that. But I learned to take things with distance a bit. I think that the more I will grow old and the more I will, succeed doing that. But not taking everything in the face all the time. And sometimes you have somebody who said something that hurt you, and maybe he didn't really meant it. Maybe it was not that important. Maybe he's not a 100% asshole, but maybe he's just, having a bad time himself. And maybe he was right. You had to question yourself about is it right or not. But so I think that I learned that with the age, being, as I told you, 48 now. I think that I have understood things, and I wish I would have before. Maybe we the band would have stayed together back in 2009 because I was exhausted and we were all exhausted, and we all expressed this weakness differently. And so for my part, I was saying that we had to rush. Actually, we're almost out of strength, so we have to put everything we have in the battle for a last fight. And the others, they were saying, no, we have to make a break. We have to make a break, and that's why we split. Actually, maybe I should have listened to them because back at that time they were not able to start running one more album, for one more 40 or 50 gigs tour, as we all had jobs and kids beside it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned that the hard way, unfortunately, but I learned it, and that's the positive thing about it.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of alluded to a little bit ago about saying that being able to put something down and pick it back up is such a cool thing to be able to do as a musician or as an artist for all intents and purposes, that that there's no timeline, and there's such a resurgence culture today that you may have stopped in 2009, but I'm sure at some point on some level you had some fans that said, man, I wish they could come back and do just another another gig. And then when it happens, it's like, holy shit, and then their involvement reinvigorates your involvement, because it's like, holy hell, somebody's actually digging this. There is, and I don't want to use the term market, but there's a market for it. And you can,
it's a fuel.
Yeah. And again, it's like being the people that you're devoted to, like we mentioned a minute ago. If you could have any movie character as your best friend, who would it be? The character, not the actor.
Yeah, the character. Can I take a TV show?
Sure.
I'm a huge fan of How I Met Your Mother. And I don't know if I would like to stay all the time with Barney Stinson, but I think it would be a lot of fun to meet this guy. It's incredible.
When you say
I'm watching this show for the third time entirely, and this time with one of my kids, who is 18 years old, and I'm having so much fun. It's like meeting some old friends you didn't see for a long time. I really love this show.
Well, as soon as you said, "Can I say a TV show?" and I'm like, "Yeah," and you're like, "How I Met," I was like, "It's gonna be Barney." I know it.
Of course, because Ted Mosby is nice, but he's a bit annoying because always, you're always crying about finding the one. And Marshall is very nice too, but Barney Stinson is exceptional. So
He very much is. So yeah, I'll go with a TV show as well. For I like to answer some of these as well. Um, Ultimately, if I chose a movie, it would probably have to be The Dude from
yeah,
the Big Lebowski,
yeah,
because
yeah,
I am just enough dude in my day-to-day life as I am Walter in my day-to-day life, right? It's like, are
yeah.
you fucking kidding? No, like that, right? Uh
I see. I can
so
see that.
right. So if I were to choose a TV show character, I'm gonna go animated here, and I'm gonna go with Orko from Masters of the Universe.
Master of the Universe, the
The
cartoon?
the,
No,
the cartoon, yes.
with He-Man and
Yes.
Skeletor. Oh,
Yes.
okay,
The little wizard Orko. Um,
okay.
this guy. I would totally choose him just because of his comic genius and stuff like that. Um, so I have one more question, but before we get to it, as always, links they're listed below. So please give likes, shares, follows, go do all the things and all the stuff. When they do play shows, go see them on tour, go buy the merch, go buy the albums on the Bandcamp page and wherever you can get them. As I said, links are listed below. Do you have anything else you would like to promote today, or anyone you would like to shout out?
If you want to to listen to the album we released the year before, it's a very good one, and I'm really proud of it. It was not easy to gather the band to find new way to work together as we now live in different cities and we cannot see each other. And Beyond the Tree is definitely not a one-man band. It's a real band. So yeah, we put a lot of ourselves into it, and our recording company CEO, which is a very very serious guy. He don't smile a lot, and he never lies. He's definitely not a salesman. This is the type of guy who can say, your album is shit. And he told us this is your best album, and we didn't expect that. So if you like the EP London sessions, just take a listen to Second Thoughts that we released in 2024.
Hell yeah, absolutely. And I do love the London sessions. Since I got my email and we booked this, I've pretty much been like listening to it ever since. So I really do dig it. I love the
Cool.
quality of it, and like going into seeing what else you all are coming up with, and I'm late to the game for your career, unfortunately, but I'm glad that like somebody like Will had sent me the promo email so I could be turned on and go back and check stuff out and look to see what you all have coming up with next. So that,
So
yeah,
I will thank Will from Susan Smith for that.
for sure. Well, super rad dude. I'm sure he's, A&R and stuff like that's pretty thankless job, I'm sure. Just the day-to-day of it is, making sure stuff gets done, and with the PR and all of that. And it's like, yeah. So my final question is, um, what are three things that you do each day to keep your mental health in check?
I
Or if you
eat
don't
fruit
have
in the morning.
three,
Yeah, but I have some small routines like that. I do take the subway every day, and when I'm in the subway, I have this app about respiration. And I try to take 5 minutes, just cooling everything down, just focusing on my lungs. And after that, I feel really, really calm and prepared for everything that will happen in the day. And
Sure.
also, by the end of the day, I used to play Mario Kart with my wife, and he used to use all the most evil words against me every time I throw her a shell. But it's very fun to do that. We still have fun, you know.
Still kids, huh?
Yeah, for 30 years soon.
Yeah. Dude, that's amazing. That's what makes life worth living.
Absolutely.
Is to be able to have fun and, and just, get away from all the mundane garbage of like,
Yeah,
seeing the newspaper, and it's like
that's right.
watching news programs and, you know, we the CBS World News here we have, they used to do, and I haven't watched for a long time just because of, things. But they always used to have like a feel good story at the end of the news kind of thing. And it's like, maybe you should do more 60/40, good news things versus, here's the bad news, and to be able to, you know, to, to get joked on with, when you throw shells in Mario Kart, it makes it worth it.
Yeah, you have to cherish what you have, and you have to be with the right people. And when you found them, you have to entertain the relationship and cherish it and make it work. You know, it's sometimes it's hard, but it's worth it. And to go along with what you just said, in France we had a TV show with no word on it, just small parts of what was on TV the day before. It's
Mm.
called the zapping, and it lasted during decades in France. And the TV channel that used to play it celebrated their 30th anniversary, and they made a full night of all the shows. And so you could watch small parts of things that were considered relevant by the people who were doing the show, who was making the show every day. And I watched it in several times, but I watched it. It starts in the 80s, and there's a lot of fun actually. And there are tragic things, there are wars, there are catastrophes, there are big storms and everything in the world, but there's a lot of fun. And then happened 9/11. And you can see, as it's a fast forward, of actualities of the things on TV. You can see things getting darker and darker since then, and being so it's so sad. It's so sad, and you cannot expect things to. You don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's getting darker and darker, and in the US it's very complicated. But even
Oh,
in
I know.
Europe, you can see the extreme right getting on and on. You can see people getting back to religion instead of trying to stay open-minded. You can see young people whom their grandparents were coming from Algeria, Morocco, this kind of thing, but they were born in France. They're the third generation to be in France, and they start to dress like some medieval clothes from the north of Africa. It's fucking it's frightening actually. This word is frightening, and that's why you have to do as good as possible to stay with the people you like and to help them stay fine, and try to stay connected. I had an interview with a Russian magazine, and we talked about the war in Ukraine, and we talked about a French band called Celeste, which is a black metal band
Hmm.
who which which already toured the Russia before the events. And they announced that they were about to go back in Russia to make some gigs. And on the web, it became crazy. Some people, they were saying that they were supporting Vladimir Putin and everything like that. And so I had this discussion with the guy from the Russian magazine, and I was shocked, actually. You know, we have to create bonds within the citizens. We have to talk to the Russian people. We don't care about Vladimir Putin. He's a fucking crazy man. We don't care about Donald Trump. We don't care about Emmanuel Macron. These people are not really representing us, and we have more in common. I have more in common with the metalhead from Moscow, I guess, than with the chief head of the government in France. And so I think we need to share the music. We need to tour. We need to talk through to see that we have a lot in common, and that we are the same. We're not that different. And yeah, it's a scary world, and we have to take care of it as much as we can do.
Exactly. And I agree with that. And, you know, closing out here, that you made a comment just there, and it triggered a memory of a lyric, you know, that floats around in the old head here of a friend of mine from Call Me Bronco. And he was on one of the very first episodes of the Metal Forge. And in one of the lyrics in his song is, "I have more in common with the prison populace than I will ever have with the filthy fucking rich."
That's true.
And it is very true, you know. And yeah, just take care of each other. I think that's been the whole thing of the whole deal in this whole show today is, you know, take care of each other and just, you know, chill the fuck out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, Manuel, thank you so much for being a part of the Metal Forge. I appreciate it. I have another pin to put in the wall now in my map for bands that I have had all over the world on the show, and I appreciate it. And on our way out today, from your music video collection of your band, The Old Dead Tree, yeah, what do you want to play?
Oh, let's play the very last video. Time Has Come.
We strive for light, a lifeboat on lies.
Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttatoosandpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing. Hey metalheads, after going to a rager, what's your ultimate go-to? Mine is totally pizza. So when Overload is playing or I'm promoting the Metal Forge live showcases or the big goddamn metal show, I go to Pizza DoNisi. Pizza DoNisi is gourmet artisan pizza from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It features things like the pizza of the month, the sandwiches, and also vegetarian and vegan options, which is so totally fucking cool for all of it's awesome pizza. You definitely want to go. Hey, and also from time to time they do cannolis. Oh, so fucking good. You know what they said, man? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, just like that in Godfather. They're located right next to the Mag Bar at 1396 South 2nd Street. So either stop in or call in at 502-213-0488. They're open till midnight. The witching hour.
Heineken? Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Hey metalheads, you all hear me talk about Mag Bar all the time. It is the home to the Metal Forge live showcases and is an integral stop in the ultimate underground metal tour schedule. They obviously feature live music, but the Mag Bar also has daily specials like Pint and Slice Night on Tuesdays with Pizza DoNisi. But they also do Bring Your Own Vinyl on Thursdays with DJ Kent Jackson, and Finer Things Sundays. Located right next to Pizza DoNisi at 1398 South 2nd Street, open 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. 7 days a week. Get your asses out to the Mag Bar. Rock out. For 45 years and keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They're open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out. In 2017, one man's vision and passion for all things metal started out as a record store in his house. Years later, the fight against a mainstream empire continues as Shadebeast. An independent metal collective and online store based in Athens, Georgia, is the world's premier heavy metal brand for music heads that value authenticity over the mainstream acceptance. Featuring original t-shirts from some of the best underground artists, as well as stickers, posters from the Shadebeast Presents concert series. Unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles and small curated selection of vinyl and cassettes from the masters old and new. Visit Shadebeast.com and enter promo code SithLord for free domestic shipping on your first order, whether you're a new customer or returning. And be sure to join the Shadebeast social groups on Facebook and the interwebs to keep up with the new release announcements and talk all things metal and Star Wars. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and filth.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The Sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soul Grinder Zine! An independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now. Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code METALFORGE10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Set back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code MetalForge10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now. Hey Metalheads, it's with great pleasure I get to tell you guys about a new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Ageless Art, New Albany. After 20 years of owning and operating Ageless Art in Clarksville, Indiana, Phil Garrett had a vision for a new type of tattoo studio. Something that is clean and modern, sleek, refined, inviting. And he's done just that with Ageless Art in New Albany. You can find it at 2736 Charlestown Road, New Albany, Indiana, 47150. Business hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays are 12 to 6. All sessions are appointment only, so give them a call and go get you some new ink. Or if it's your first time, go get your first one, baby.
In a broken wasteland,